On a sunny morning, old Bai once again rushed anxiously to room 205, only to discover a stranger busily changing the lock with a completely flustered expression. The guy, terrified, fled like a startled bird, old Bai chased. Despite a twisted ankle, he knew the area well. The guy darted around like a ghost and vanished, leaving old Bai desperately searching, when suddenly something unexpected happened. When old Bai woke again, he found himself in a heap of trash, with youths staring oddly. He quickly tried to rise. However, these youths had no intention of letting him off, instantly causing a tense atmosphere to rise in old Bai's heart. Luckily, just then, Cheng showed up, and seeing old Bai being picked on, he grabbed a brick and charged in, knocking the ringleader down. The other youths got scared, while the door-picking guy confessed his reasons after Cheng's warm welcome. He'd broken because his girlfriend Zhu Jing had gone missing ever since she moved in with Mei Zhen. Old Bai immediately remembered the fighting sounds from last night and hurried with Cheng towards Mei Zhen's place. Cheng opened the bathroom door and instantly noticed some spots on the floor that looked like traces of blood that hadn't been cleaned up. Pulling back some stuff, he found a half finger at the water outlet, clearly indicating that a BBQ party had gone terribly wrong. Cheng immediately started checking other areas, and the fridge nearby looked like a spice station, with blood leaking everywhere. When he opened the fridge, his expression instantly shifted from curiosity to horror as he found a frozen human head inside. Subtitles: it was precisely Mei Zhen's closest confidante, and in the lower section of the refrigerator there were meat pieces chopped into fragments, a kind of special dish that old Bai had never seen before. Old Bai quickly took out his phone to call the police, but Cheng snatched it away, urgently reminding him that they couldn't call yet. Because Mei Zhen and Zhu Jing lived together, if something happened to them both, the killer wouldn't bother to take Mei Zhen's body separately, so she must still be alive. However, if the police are called and a large-scale search starts, it may panic the killer, causing more killings. Left with no choice, the two decided to investigate the case themselves, digging up case files from 30 years ago and photos of the unfortunate. This factory worker was found dead at the mountain top 30 years ago. Found and bleeding to death, she was the 13th girl murdered by Uncle Xiang. Subtitle: under the covert pursuit by his colleagues. Che eventually set his eyes on the legendary Uncle Xiang. But as he recklessly approached, Uncle Xiang stabbed him good, leaving Cheng down for the count. Uncle Xiang vanished quickly, like he was reborn 30 years later, starting a new hunt. This girl was ordinary and quiet, with a sweet appearance, just like a little bunny, precisely the type Uncle Xiang preferred as his prey. Meanwhile, Mei Zhen was secretly locked away somewhere, chained up like a lab rat, living in a nightmare. She survived on just a few bottles of nutrient liquids each day, feeling both hungry and scared, crying for her captor to let her. However, that person added a mysterious black substance to her nutrient liquid, causing Mei Zhen to scream in agony. She realized that obedience was her only chance at survival, and making requests only doubled her suffering. The only ones aware of Mei Zhen's disappearance now were old Bai and Cheng. The two began their investigation, suspecting that the elderly Uncle Xiang was making a dangerous comeback. By age calculation, he would now be an old man around 60. Old Bai and Cheng began to check out all the folks in the community and eventually zeroed in on the newly arrived Dr. Han. Dr. Han moved to the neighborhood after retiring from a hospital 6 months ago, bringing his paralyzed wife along, and ever since, misfortunes had been striking left and right. Cheng sensed there was more to this doctor than met the eye, so he pretended to be a patient and paid a visit. Just then, Dr. Han's wife screamed, startling him and causing him to drop everything he was doing. She had an accident, which is common for paralyzed patients, so he hurriedly ended this session. Seeing this, Cheng quietly followed him and waited outside Dr. Han's house. When Dr. Han finally stepped outside, Cheng and old Bai split up to cover more ground. Old Bai searched through the house to see if Mei Zhen was there, but after a thorough search, he found only Dr. Han's paralyzed wife. He had a terrified expression, as if he wanted to say something, but it all came out as garbled nonsense, like a stuck tape recorder. Old Bai, feeling exasperated, ignored him and continued his search in the backyard. he stumbled upon a brand new iron door that had clearly been installed later, complete with a high-tech keypad lock. Old Bai tried to pry the door open, but failed miserably, so he took out a wrench to give it a good whack. At that moment, Cheng discovered Dr. Han was only at the nearby store to buy diapers, and he quickly alerted Old Bai. But just as Old Bai was focused on his wrench work, he missed the phone call. Chen rushed to the store to warn him, but ran into that troublesome bunch of youths he faced before. Subtitles. They still harbor resentment towards Cheng over the old score of the brick incident, and have consequently gathered a few individuals to seek revenge on him. Nonetheless, Cheng, being a tough cop, subdued them in just a few minutes. As he turned to leave, the leader stabbed him, exposing Old Bai. Room 205. Excuse me, is there a misunderstanding here? Oh, what's the bill for?